Let's just dive right into this, shall we? Today we're going through an absolutely beautiful dastan, an explainer of a truly timeless piece of regional folklore, where two very different worlds collide. We're talking about a deeply moving story that weaves the very real human experience of struggle and patience together with the ancient hidden world of the supernatural. It's the kind of tale that makes you step back and ask some pretty profound questions about love, sacrifice, and the literal boundaries that separate us. So, picture this for a second. Someone hands you an old, gleaming silver coin right in the dead of night. You lock it in a safe, or maybe you just tuck it securely into your pocket. But the exact moment the first ray of morning sunlight hits the earth, that coin simply dissolves, just vanishes into thin air, like it never even existed. Crazy, right? Well, that is the central mystery kicking off our narrative today. And it's a mystery hiding a love story so profound, it's destined to shatter a centuries-old oath. Which brings us to part one of our story, the vanishing silver coin, a mystery unfolding in Rasulpur. To really wrap our heads around this mystery, we have to step into the smoky, freezing winter streets of Rasulpur. Picture a dimly lit corner of this bustling market. Sitting there is our protagonist, a young boy named Sikander. Now, he's only 17 years old, but if you look closely, his eyes carry the deep, heavy exhaustion of a 50-year-old man. Every single night, bundled up against the bitter cold, he sits there roasting corn for passersby, greeting every single customer with a tired but incredibly genuine smile. Let's move on to part two, a life of patience, the profound struggle of young Sikander. You see, that exhaustion you see in Sikander, it wasn't just physical. It was the sheer weight of tragedy. By the time he was just 12 years old, after losing his father in a terrible construction accident and then his mother to a sudden illness, Sikander was completely and utterly alone in the world. But he was taken in by his loving aunt. Now, she couldn't offer him any material wealth, but what she did give him was a profound philosophy to live by. She told him, Allah does what is best. Have sabr, have patience. And that one piece of advice, it became his literal guiding light, keeping his heart humble and completely free of bitterness or hatred. And that brings us to part three, two worlds collide. Enter Sunheri. It's during the incredibly sacred, quiet nights of Muharram that things take a turn. A mysterious girl named Sunheri suddenly appears at Sikander's humble stand. She has this striking complexion, literally as bright as moonlight. And she's the one who leaves behind that strange, vanishing silver coin. Night after night, they start to connect. But she is harboring a massive secret. Sunheri is actually a Jinn. She belongs to a hidden creation of Allah, existing completely parallel to humans. And her people? They are bound by incredibly strict ancient laws, living right outside of town in a dense, dark forest. And this right here sets up the massive contrast at the very heart of our story. Think about it. On one side, you have Sikandar's world. It's entirely defined by poverty, smoke, and quiet human endurance. On the other side is Sunheri's world, intensely magical and powerful, yet rigidly confined to a dark forest palace. But here's the catch. Because Sunheri is actually half human on her mother's side, she finds herself deeply, almost dangerously drawn to Sikandar's realm. Which leads directly to part four, the wrath of Dam Shah, enforcing the oath. Now, as you might guess, these two worlds are strictly forbidden from mixing. Sunheri's uncle, a powerful figure named Dam Shah, fiercely enforces a centuries-old oath meant to isolate the Jinn from humans forever. So when he inevitably discovers Sunheri's secret, he absolutely unleashes his wrath. He wants to scare Sikander away, and he does this through a series of terrifying, escalating attacks. First, Sikandar's cart is completely smashed. Then, his hard-earned sacks of corn inexplicably catch fire. And finally, a fierce, unnatural wind violently overturns his stove. At this point, Sikandar's patience is pushed to the absolute limit. But get this, he doesn't quit. Seeing him suffer like this, Sunheri breaks down and tearfully confesses her true identity. She finally explains that the silver coins vanish because objects from her world simply cannot remain in the human realm after sunrise. She fully expects Sikander to just run away in terror. But instead, he shows unbelievable courage. He looks at her and says that whether she is human or Jinn, he only sees the pure heart he has come to know. This sets the stage for part five, the ultimate sacrifice, Sunheri's fateful choice. Enraged by their continued bond, Dam Shah places Sunheri under strict house arrest and prepares to eliminate Sikander once and for all. Terrified for him, Sunheri manages to miraculously escape and rushes down to the market. But she's too late. A sudden, fierce wind rips right through the street, instantly extinguishing every single lantern. And then a towering shadow appears in the center of the market. It's Dam Shah. He raises his hand, gathering this fatal magical strike to obliterate the boy and protect his tribe's ancient oath. Just as Dame Shah unleashes this devastating magical force, Sunheri does the unthinkable. She throws her own body directly into the path of the strike. There's a blinding flash of light, and Sunheri falls to the ground, gravely injured. She literally sacrifices her own life to save an innocent human boy. Dam Shah is just frozen in shock. Suddenly, the rest of the Jinn tribe, including the wisest elder Jinn, materialized right there in the market. The elder steps forward and reveals an absolutely amazing plot twist. You see, Sunheri's selfless act didn't break their ancient oath at all. It actually fulfilled its truest, most deeply hidden condition. The elder recites the final words of the old pact. Whoever sacrifices their life to protect an innocent, their love shall be freed. Wow.
And that brings us to our final act, Part 6, A Legacy of True Love. The curse is broken.
With Sunheri nearly dying for love, Dam Shah finally realizes his own rigid arrogance. The curse isolating the tribes is officially broken. But, this isn't just some simple fairy tale where they run off into the sunset together. Divine boundaries still exist. She cannot become human, and he cannot live in her world. So instead of trying to possess one another, they vow to honor their deep bond by meeting at that exact same street corner every single year on the night of Ashura. Now, I want to take a second to just look at Sikander's incredible journey over the passing years. By steadfastly sticking to his aunt's philosophy, keeping patience, working honestly, and trusting the divine, Sikander transitions from a poor boy with a broken cart to a highly successful shop owner. His unwavering perseverance, his sabr, ultimately yields the greatest reward. When the smoke finally clears, this beautiful dastan leaves us with some truly timeless lessons. We learn that true love requires selfless sacrifice, not just mere desire. We see that honest hard work is rewarded even when you're facing absolute adversity. It reminds us that rules should exist for justice, never for hatred. And above all else, sabr, that unshakable patience, is the ultimate virtue. They say that every year on the night of Ashura, the townspeople still find a mysterious silver coin left at that bustling market corner. It's a quiet testament to a love that managed to bridge two parallel realms. And honestly, it leaves us with a pretty lingering thought to ponder. If your patience, your resilience, and your own capacity for love were tested by the absolute boundaries of two entirely different worlds, would you have the courage to stand as firm as Sikander and Sunheri?